Hi guys, and welcome to another week of State of the Market. I am Mark Vittori, joined by my co-host Jennifer Budol, and this week we have a jam-packed episode on the latest news across Sydney property prices and the trigger on house price falls.
Yeah, so Sydney price properties has fallen for the third month in a row now. CoreLogic Data shows that this is dropping by 0.2% in April as the housing downturn gathers pace amid rising stock and halting demand. Median property values in Melbourne also edged slightly over the last month, dragging the national growth rate to just 0.6%, the weakest reading since October 2020. By contrast, in Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth and Canberra, it all rose by more than 1% during the month.
Very interesting. So guys, with the cash rate set to rise potentially as early as Tuesday, price falls were likely to accelerate over the remainder of the year into 2023, said Tim Lawless from CoreLogic's research direction. A lift in the cash rate is a net negative for housing demand, so it will add further downward pressure on prices, he said, as the stronger months of capital gains from early 21 fall out of the 12-month calculation. The annual growth trend in home values is now falling sharply across the country. Demand has been falling in these markets as shown by the slower absorption rate, which has allowed supply levels to bounce back to long-term average levels in Sydney and above average levels in Melbourne, said Mr. Lawless.
Great. With higher inventory levels and less competition, buyers are gradually moving into the driver's seat. That means more time to deliberate on their purchase decisions and negotiate on price. Brisbane posted 5.7% quarterly rise and Adelaide by 5.4%, while Perth and Darwin rose by 2.4%. Lower demand for housing because of higher interest rates and tighter lending is more likely to trigger a faster and deeper price fall than any widespread mortgage defaults caused by the rising cost of credit, experts say. An increase in the official cash rate would reduce demand for new mortgages and therefore property rises, said Eliza Owen, CoreLogic's head of research.
So guys, some economists are forecasting interest rates to rise by 1 percentage point by the end of the year, with the first increase tipped to come as early as Tuesday. A calculation by comparison site Rate City shows that a 1 percentage point rise in cash rate would slash borrowing capacity for someone earning $100,000 a year by $75,600 and a couple earning a combined salary of $150,000 by $111,100. Meanwhile, a 2 percentage point lift would limit a single borrower by $139,000 and would cut a couple's mortgage amount by $205,000. Anyone borrowing at capacity will see their budget shrink, which could be enough to cool things down, particularly in property hotspots such as Sydney and Melbourne, said Sally Tyndall from Rate City, the research director.
SQM Research Managing Director Christopher Lewis stated that rising mortgage rates and higher assessment rates could knock potential buyers out of the market. Buyers tend to stay away from the housing market when rates are rising, but more people are going to be rejected by the banks because they haven't met the higher servicing tests, he said. Fewer buyers will qualify for a loan if interest rates rise by 2%. Rough estimates by AMP Capital suggest that a 1.5% H point to 2 percentage point in rise in mortgage rates would reduce home buyer borrowing capacity and the ability to pay for a house by 10 to 15%.
Some interesting times ahead, guys. So the demand for housing is going to be affected immensely simply because people won't be able to borrow as much as they did in the past, said Shane Oliver from AMP Capital Chief Economist. This will have a greater negative impact on prices than defaults by existing mortgage holders because many households are already ahead of their repayments and still pay lower interest rates than new borrowers. So guys, if you would like to know more about how we can help you invest into the market, get a better understanding of what's to come over the next 12 to 24 months, get in contact with either Jennifer or myself today to get a better understanding of your position, and let's speak soon. See you guys.